Welcome back to Down in the Den. It's your boy Mars, aka Marlon Beardo, the Bearded Weirdo, the Stella Rosa Casanova, the creator of culture and the Shud Knight of this podcast game. And we're back for another phenomenal episode with the best talent all over the music industry in every genre that you can imagine. We're having them here on this show. And today, I like to give a warm Down in the Den welcome to my brother, Lee. Welcome to the Den. How you doing this afternoon?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be in the den, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. This is quite a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. Well, the pleasure is all mine. We started this community 6 years ago,
Okay.
and it blossomed to just probably 300 just super dope, unique, independent artists doing their thing, networking together. So I am happy to add you to the family. Welcome. You'll find that you're gonna like it here. You know, everybody, I have no complaints. All the den mates across the world, man, they love it here because it's the real. So we're gonna get the real to the people that are potentially entering this industry. We're gonna help drop some gems from our mistakes, our triumphs, and that's what it's all about. So before we begin, please let the people know where they can find you on social media. Give them your name and let them know where you're from.
Yeah, so my name's Lee. I'm an independent artist originally from Columbus, Ohio, now living in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can follow me on Instagram. That's where I post most of my up-to-date content for all my fans at Lee __ music. So that's LEE __ music. And that's where you can find me and catch up with everything that I got going on.
Absolutely. From the O to Charlotte, man, a journey. So let's talk about it. One of my favorite things to do growing up was reading comic books, man. I'm a head to the death of me, and I used to notice every dope superhero had an origin story. So I believe personally that creatives, we're the modern day superheroes. We can make universes with our pen. We can inspire, we can terrify, we can shock the world, we can do it all just with our pen. So, with that being said, what's your origin story? How did you discover that hip hop and making music and being a creative that was a pathway for you?
I think that's one of the best questions I've gotten. Honestly, because I'm a big Marvel fan too. So like you hitting the nail on the head right now. So I can spend hours talking about that. But for me, man, I've been doing music since I was a real young kid, probably like 8, 10 years old, somewhere in that range. Always was rapping, always was writing music. I was gravitated towards hip hop. I'm not the most proud to say it, but that "Make It Rain" video with Fat Joe and Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah,
something about it, man. I remember
exactly what it was about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the basement. I'm like, I want that. I want to do that. And I'm listening, and I'm like, I could do this. Like this ain't that hard. Like I could do this. And as I started working on it, obviously it's not like super easy, but I did work on my pen and try to perfect my craft as much as possible. So that "Make It Rain" video had a big impact on me as my origin story. And then, as time progressed, I was in and out of hip hop. I was discouraged at times. I was encouraged at times. I was in a hip hop class. I wrote a disc record to my middle school. I mean, like it's all kind of there's a long story, but the short version is I was in and out of it. And then I would say in 2020, once I was, a full grown adult, I was back home hanging out with some friends from high school. We was in the studio basement. You know how that goes. Everyone's smoking, drinking, we having a good time. Beat comes on, and that's everybody's time to freestyle. And we just having a good time. So people play freestyling. Some people joking, some people got a few bars, and people knew that I rap. People knew that I wrote music, but not everyone had heard me. And that was when I, did my freestyle. And I mean, I do a full 16 bars. I got metaphors, subject matters, all kind of stuff. And as soon as I'm done, you can hear a pin drop, and everyone's just staring at me because they're like, wait, you rapping. Like we out here just playing around, and you actually like spitting for real. And that's when I got the confidence to actually take music a little bit more serious. So before it was always like a hobby until that moment. And that gave me the confidence I needed to go back into the studio and take it a little bit more serious.
So dope. That's so dope. And you and I, we have a significant age gap, but our stories are almost identical, and that's always awesome to see how many creatives, no matter the type of music, the age, the bracket, the genre, we all have these similarities, and that's why I love creating this community. To swap war stories. Would you say? Now you mentioned the video, and I honestly at that time, Lil Wayne was at the pinnacle or about the pinnacle of his success. He hadn't went to the super stratosphere. Fat Joe dropping anthems, which he still eats off today. So obviously, I could see that video, that song, that was a banger. For me, as I mentioned, I'm significantly older. If the gray beard doesn't give it away, but I also, the person that put me on the hip hop was my older brother, who was 10 years older. Yeah. So obviously, hip hop has always been more of a aggressive form of music, parental advisory, if you will. It's usually not a parent that's putting it on. It's usually a cousin, brother, somebody like that. Who was the first person that actually was like, yo, check this out? And do you remember the artist?
There's a lot that's real particular. A couple that I'll call out. One, my dad is a big hip hop head. So I grew up in a house, music was played all the time, different genres, mom, dad, brother, and me. We all got a chance to play what we like to listen to. My dad was a big, New York hip hop head. So the Lost Boys was one that I remember very vividly, him sitting us down, playing this, and him rapping it word for word. And I can't, it was a ghetto law is a law that we live by. I wonder why that my shorty always had to die. I can't remember the name of the song, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So
Renee, classic hip hop.
And it was, I like the song, but I just saw the passion he had. I'm like, I don't ever see you light up like this. So that would be one. Another one in particular I got to call out is Kanye West. I remember my cousin played it for me, and it was Late Registration. So it wasn't
my favorite of all his albums, by the way.
It gotta be top 3, and it ain't 3. I know that.
It says different. It's just absolutely wrong.
Yeah, and Late Registration is one of them albums where it was different to me. Like at that time, all the hip hop was this hard bravado, very New York from where I was coming from, very street. That's all that I heard and all I listened to. And then when I saw my cousin who wasn't a street dude, who wasn't, hard and bravado in the ad, he was at the time the one in the family who was doing good for himself. Like, oh, you going places, and he's listening to Kanye West. And I'm like, I'm riding around with my 20-something-year-old cousin that got his own car, his own crib, his own job, which was rare in the family, to be honest. And he's listening to Kanye West. And if I want to be anything like this dude or Kanye, this is what I'm going to listen to. That really developed into a true, me being a full-on fan of Kanye, even to this day. You can say what you want. When it comes to that studio, when it comes to the music, Kanye is still a genius.
Absolutely. He's so far ahead that we're just catching up to stuff that he was doing literally in 2014. It reminds me of my next question. He's a visionary. You call yourself the visionary. And I think that's dope, because I think all great artists, not just music. I'm talking about architecture. I'm talking about business. I'm talking about acting, directing, producing, whatever it may be. The best, the icons, the legends, they all are visionaries. Yeah. So taking that moniker on, that's a bold statement. Tell us a little bit about what that identity means to you conceptually and artistically.
Yeah, so I agree with you. It is a bold statement, and I was given the statement. I was blessed with it. So it's not something that I just profound upon myself. It's just something that someone put upon me, and the short version to the story is I was in the studio. I'm making a record with a new engineer, and we're trying to put things in certain places. And I lay down what I call the hook. He's like, "Bro, that's not a hook. That's a verse." And I said, "No, it's a hook." And long story short, I had to tell him to get up out his seat. I had to sit down and put it in the right places. And then as I'm doing it, he's like, "Oh, I see what. Oh, I didn't even think." And he's like, "Bro, you really got the vision, bro. Like you actually know where you go." So that's where me saying I'm a visionary comes from. But for me, this is a path that I've seen for myself for quite some time, and I kick myself in the butt sometimes because I always say I should have never stopped, and I can only imagine how far I go. But everything that's happening now was a part of the vision that I had when I was 8 to 10 years old. It's just a matter of had I started earlier, I might not be doing this at 28. I might have been doing this at 16, 17 or so. But everything happens for a reason. Everything has its own timeline, and I say I kick myself in the butt, but it's like the smallest kick possible. Like it ain't that deep. Because I really do embrace it. And like the music I'm making now is so far ahead of what I was making then. And I can only do that because I've had the experiences that I've had. So, everything happens for a reason. But, I definitely say I saw this and I see a lot more coming for myself.
Yeah, the power of proclaiming it and putting the vision, it sounds real new age, but it's not. It really is the key. If you can't even envision it for yourself, how are you going to do it? And don't worry about the pause, because I'm a firm believer. The best music comes from living, because I think I'm 45, so I'm probably more closer to age to your father. We probably went to school together, and I'm making my best art now because I've actually lived. I've been married. I've lost a child. I've started a business. I've lost friends. I've lost family members. So I'm a fully realized person. And so, Lil Wayne, when Lil Wayne first came out, he was wobbly, 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 wobbly. And no one thought that he would go down as one of the best lyricists to ever live. Yeah. But he lived. And then we get to the point where it goes to the choices that we make to continue the path. But I love that for you, that someone proclaimed the vision, because as a creative, and we asked this question, and this brings me to my next question. Nice segue. Walk us through your creative process, because as I mentioned, I feel regardless of the type of music or even what you're doing, all creatives have some similarities. We have some differences. So walk me from concept to finished track. Lee's in the studio or wherever you do your writing, in the car, the site, whatever you do your writing, take me from the start to finish.
Yeah, so every track that I do is fairly different in terms of the process. Sometimes it's a beat, like I'll just hit a beat and it's like, this makes me feel like this. And then like I would have a sentence of, this beat make me feel like I'm, big city rolling. And then I'll just go from there. There's times where I'll just rap on my own a cappella with no beat. And I'll just say something and I'm like, oh, that was really, really dope, So it all depends. But one weird thing that I had a period of doing where I wrote a lot of my records for my album, I did it while I was driving. So, I had a job where I drove 3-4 hours a day. I got all this windshield time, and eventually you get bored. And I would I'm gonna start rapping. I'll start rapping in the car, saying silly stuff, cool stuff, whatever. And when something, I think sticks, thank God that Siri can let you just talk while in your phone and write in your notes, or else I'll probably be in an accident by now. Right. So like I'll just be driving and I got my phone and I'll start rapping into my phone, and then I come back to it and clean it up and everything like that. But every time it's usually pretty different. I'll say the hardest records for me to make is when I have like a true concept first. Like I want to write a song about this. and then it makes it. I can get it done, but it takes me a lot more time to do it. Versus I feel this, and then I make the song, and then what comes out of it is me talking about this subject matter.
And that's what I was looking for, because I feel if I go into an idea of this topic, this subject, you've already handicapped yourself.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to make stuff to fit into a structured story instead. So for me personally, number one, the beat has to, I can't just write to everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably could, but your quality is going to be subpar. And I'm going to drive this car around. I'm going to bring it around. So coming up, obviously, Lil Wayne was an inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Wayne, of course, was inspired by Jay-Z. He was probably my favorite MC. And they started this thing of not writing.
Yeah.
And that inspired a whole generation of non-writers, almost to the point that if you have a pen and a pad or a note,
you ain't nice like that.
You got nice like that. I beg to differ. I feel that whatever works best for you is what's best for you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to put some structure in it so that from listening to your music, because I always do my homework, I definitely feel like you're a writer. But how do you feel? And another thing I've noticed, because sometimes I'll go in the studio. For me, I have a home studio. I've built everything, so I can literally record my own self-sufficient system. But for people that have to pay for studio time, I've gone to studio sessions and the guys come in with nothing but weed.
I've heard them stories.
And we're just sitting there, and I'm like, you're going to give $125 to smoke weed. We could have done that in the car for free. So I say that to say this. Are you a writer, or are you I'll punch a line, that's a good line, we'll punch it in and we'll work on it later, or a combination of both?
I'm 100% a writer. I mean, even like with punching in, I've tried, like I'll have my whole verse written and I'll try to punch in and out just for the sake of like catching the beat. And that's even hard for me to do. Like because when I practice the song, when I practice it, I'm practicing the whole verse. So now you want me to do one bar, cut, one bar, cut. Like, I'm not ready for that. I'm ready to just give you the boom, boom, boom. Let me just go in there, and then we can clean it up. But yeah, man, I've heard them stories. I am a little meticulous in the studio. I don't think everyone likes working with me in the studio, because I'll come in. Let's say I got a 4-hour studio session, and I'm like, all right, I got 4 hours. I want to do 3 songs. Which one is already like, most engineers like, yo, you fucking dope. Ain't no way you're doing 3 songs in 4 hours. And then I go in and I'll say, all right, yo, boom, set a timer for me. Set an hour and a half. We'll work on this song for an hour and a half, and that's it. Once that time hits, we move on to the next one. I don't care where we're at. And like, I'm on it. Oh, is it you gonna take? All right, boom, let's do the next verse. Oh, that wasn't like, I'm not sitting around waiting for you to piece stuff up. None of that. And I already know like what I want, how I want. So there's a lot of times I go in 4 hours, I'll come out with 4 tracks, sometimes more than that. Now mix and master, that's where it's like, okay, you do that on your own time. Yeah. I'll pay you for your time. But as far as laying it down, I get in there and we'll clean house.
Dope. Yeah. And like I said, I could tell from when I do my research, and I connect with artists, I try to really listen to the music so we can also connect and really have this open dialogue like we're having. And I can tell from those who write versus those who don't write. And like I said, it's nothing wrong with it, but I do say for upcoming artists, young artists, they're Lil Wayne and Jay-Z for a reason.
Yeah, but I'm gonna just say one quick disclaimer. Because for me, I've always felt like people who can truly freestyle, like Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, that is like top tier talent in my eyes. But I say it's top tier talent because you actually saying something and you didn't take the time to write it down. but it sounds like you took the time to write it down. When you got that, you got something.
And that's what I'm saying. These guys are 1 in a million.
Right.
You're not going to necessarily be able to duplicate, no matter if you trust me. I've tried every move Michael Jordan did. The guy said you're going to be 5'9", and you're going to be not that coordinated. It doesn't matter, so it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Now let's talk about the EP Maduro Blend.
Yeah.
Number one, I was like, as a smoker, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing with that. Tell us a little bit about crafting that EP and that experience.
Yeah, that was that was a happy accident for me. I wasn't supposed to put anything out. I put my album out and I was intentionally going to take a break. But I got inspired, the creative juices started flowing, and stuff that I really like started coming out. And it's one of my most honest, most real, most vulnerable EPs I put out. And the reason I called it Maduro Blend is essentially it's if I was to have a coffee blend, if it was my own type of, which is why the cover is a cup of coffee. If it was my own type of coffee, what would it be called? And I called it Maduro Blend because it's a mature blend. This is something that's a little bit more elevated, a little bit of a higher taste. And I did that because nowadays, with what I got going on in my life and who I am now, a good cup of coffee goes a real long way for me, bro. Trust me, I still drink and I like a good whiskey. I like the tequila and all that. But I can guarantee you every single day of the week, I'm going to make sure I give myself a real good cup of coffee.
Hey, you sound like my sister, man. She can't even function without her coffee. I'm like, but hey, man, I feel you. We all need a little pick me up to make sure that we can continue with so much on us now. What's next? We'd like to give the friends of the den and the fans watching at home, what can we expect? 2026 is still very early, still February, although it's moving like crazy. So we got a lot of time left in the year.
Yeah,
we expect the new releases, collaborations, performances. What can the friends of the den look out for?
Yeah, you can definitely expect a new EP. Potentially going to be titled Maduro Blend 2. I'm still debating, but this new thing I'm working on is going to be special. Every time I do a new project, I try to challenge myself even more or add a different element to my artistry. So in the past, I'm just going to download this beat, and we ain't going to tell nobody, and I'll find this person and he going to record me, no mix and master. That was the past. Then it gets to a point, okay, I'm still going to just download this beat, but I'm going to get it really fully mixed and mastered. Then it gets to a point, I'm going to get a couple of custom beats and mix it. So this is the first time where it's going to be 100% all original beats, all custom beats just for me. Nice. And I'm helping curate that with sounds that I like, what really matches my vibe. And I'm really enjoying that process. We're working with the producer, in addition to, a very good professional mix and master. But I'm also challenging myself on subject matters and things I'm talking about. So that'll be really fun for me as well. So absolutely, there's going to be some new music coming. In addition, I do have a show with Bridging the Music that's presenting Minifest. It's going to be in Columbus, Ohio. So I am coming home, my first show back home, and I'm really looking forward to that. And if you want to buy tickets, the link is available in my bio. If you don't feel like driving to Columbus, no worries. There's a live stream link, and you can enjoy the show from the comfort of your home.
Dope. Nothing like going back home.
Oh yeah.
Live. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And that's going to be phenomenal. So guys, please do us a favor. I'll also put the links on the YouTube as well. If you're listening wherever you listen to podcasts, we'll put those links in there. So make sure you get yourself a ticket if you know, or just, check out the live stream. My man has some phenomenal music that I think you need to hear. And of course, you know how we do in the den. We support our den mates. We're a big family, and that's how we do it. So I'm going to make sure I'm checking it out. Maybe we'll do a live stream party or something.
Let's do that.
I'm always thinking. So we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely.
So our next segment is called Sit Shots to the Dome. We do 6 rapid fire questions just to kind of let the den mates really get on the insight and the inside of their newest den mate. So if you're ready to rock and roll, I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, how many seconds do I get? Or just spit fire just right away?
Just whatever comes to mind.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Studio or stage?
Studio.
Independent or major?
Right now, major. Right now. For me.
Hook first or verse first?
Verse first.
Melodic rap or bar heavy?
Bar heavy.
Weed or coffee in the studio?
Ooh, both.
Work, good shots, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. That last one caught me off guard. That was a good one.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I like how you mentioned major right now, because obviously this show is for the independent artists.
Absolutely.
One of our first guests when we first started, guy from the Bay that people at the time used to call L.A. Russell.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar.
Love Russell.
Yeah.
And super, like, I saw his grind when I'm talking a few thousand followers.
Yeah.
But I was like, yo, this dude reminds me of Nipsey. You know, he's talking good business. So we had him on the show. It was no manager, no, just literally shot him a DM. Hey, bro, I like what you're doing. He was like, the support is real. I'm there. Boom. Cool. And, you know, he dropped gems, and now he you know, he was at the Super Bowl, and he was in the news for signing with Roc Nation. And there was a debate because a lot of people say, oh, man, he sold his soul because he's been preaching independence, independence, independence. But what people don't know is at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong for major. It's something wrong with signing the wrong deal.
There you go.
So educate yourself on what you're signing. And yes, people should do good business. And yes, people should be honest. But if you're willing to sell your soul for an advance, not realizing that's just a business loan,
right,
that's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. So I feel it's very pertinent right now because he actually talked about Roc Nation very negatively at one time.
Yeah.
Because he said they offered him a BS deal. And because he had that infrastructure, he was able to recognize that. So I think it's super dope that you said major for now, which shows that you've already thought of the business side. And that's the second part that we do. I hate the term starving artists. I feel artists who give us so much should never be starving. So having that, it shows me why it's good to be 28 and not 17 doing this.
There you go. Yeah.
You have those experiences, and you can look at the horror stories and be able to circumvent. My favorite line, Hove did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. So that's what it boils down to.
That's how I always see it. I mean, and I don't want to cut you off or anything, but like if you listen to my music, like I'm very business mindset. I have a strong business mindset and very business forward. And like I always try to drop some business gems in there, you know, enough for someone to consume, but also to make them question and wonder, like, wait, what does that word mean? What does he mean, portfolio? And, you know, like just like go and look it up and figure out, and you might learn a thing or two. So I love that you mentioned that.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, brother, I could literally talk to you all day. It's been an absolute pleasure. Welcome to the Den community. You're officially stamped. Boom, official like a referee with a whistle. That comes with, of course, the support, introduction to the rest of the Den mates. And you know, you always have an open floor anytime you have something to promote, anything at all. You're always welcome. As long as our door is open, we got a seat for you, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Excellent. Well, guys, once again, please do me a favor. Boom, right there on the screen is his social media. Go over there, follow. From there, it will give you the guideways and the keys to see everything that he's doing. The music is phenomenal. Go ahead and get your tickets to that festival or live stream it if you're not in the O. Congratulations going back home. I know that's big. Congratulations on the music, the new music. And once again, any shout outs, you've earned it. The floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm just happy to be a part of the Den. You know, I just want to give a shout out to all my friends, family, and fans that supported me. I want to give a shout out to you, bro, for showing support. And I look forward to seeing all of y'all back in the O.
Absolutely. Please, please, once again, support my brother. There is the social media one more time right there on the screen. Give him a follow. The music is phenomenal. Like you said, he's spitting bars, he's spitting business, he's speaking mentality, he's spitting real life. It's what we need desperately more of. Hip hop's in a good state with brothers like Lee. So once again, salute to what you do. And guys, thank you for tuning in. We're going to end this episode like we end every episode. I don't know why I got a Jamaican accent all of a sudden. It's weird. Totally from Virginia. But anyway, as we end every episode, it's all about peace, love, unity, and respect. Deuces.